I am born in, proud to say, I am from upcountry, Tamil South Indian origin, born and bred in Ragala, Nuvareliya district, surrounded by the estates and the Sinhalese colonies. But I am proud, up to now, Honorable Minister, comrade, not a single stone was thrown among the Tamil community there. We are living all three communities. I studied at Jaffna, the St. John's College Institute, where Maitripala Nanayakkara studied, and I learned Sinhala language to write, speak and write through Mr. Trisingha. He was a Sinhalese teacher, but 1956, after the Sinhala only bill is gone. And before that, my friends and comrades, the Sinhala only act was not brought by Mr. Bandaranaike in 1956, before 1944, Jaya Jayavatra brought that act. Let's leave it. And further, I would like to say, I was socialism, leftism, my role model was Dr. N.M. Pereira when I was in the college. And when I was in the university, Dr. N.M. Pereira and Honorable Minister came to Ragala. As a university student, I was honored by translating their speeches in Tamil to the estate workers when they addressed to the state workers. So this is my introduction. Two issues I want to ask the Minister. One is, people are talking about 30 years war, 30 years on. My friends and the Honorable Minister knows, the issue started not in 30 or 40 years. 1948, when D.S. Naik's government brought the Indo-Pakistani Citizenship Act, they have started the Tamil problem. And friends from northern province or eastern province, only few people understand. They are G.G. Ponnambalam and all supported. I think Honorable Minister will agree with that. Overnight, we became, I think in this crowd, I am the only estate Tamil known as the Vadakathiyan, Thotakatan and all, called by other people. They never recognized us. And we suffered a lot. But now, we are able to send so many MPs to the parliament and ministers are there. We live with the Sinhalese and the Tamils, we understand. So this is the way we have to issues. One is regarding the war is over 2 years back. Tamils are having problem, we agree. Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa, the Honorable President, is having the power and the government is having 2/3 majority. So why can't they solve the problem? Dragging. Every time that we are having the talking, we have the process and all, it gives big problem for us like living in foreign countries. And we could face with other people. So the minister, you are a long-standing politician and human being. You have to I know your ministry is entirely different. Please go to the ministry and say what is going on in the foreign countries with the people, what we are feeling. They have to some sort of devolution of power and solve the problem that I need, because this is the best opportunity, because government is having 2/3 majority and the president is having all the power. This is one issue. Second issue mine is, here in the local papers, one issue you have answered regarding the signboards, because the names are written in Tamil language is murdered in writing the name board that you asked. The second one is regarding the, I don't understand, the registration of lands. Because the registration laws, here I have read in the papers, they say the government is going to take over all the lands in Jaffna or the northern province or eastern province and going to distribute to the landless Sinhalese people. That I don't know how far is it true. That is the issue here in the most of the ethnic papers here, they are propaganda on that. So that issues, I think the Honorable Minister will be interesting. And one more thing before finishing that, I want to just remind him, when I don't know, many people know, I think, when the first time, few years back, when Honorable Minister came to Toronto, we had a meeting, nearly 10 or 15 people only had at Thedagam, that's a library there. After he left, the Thedagam was ransacked and set fire by some hooligans here. That very sad, library was banned. We are talking about the Jaffna library, but here also the library was good. So I want to bring it to Ms. Notice. And thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. That's it.
Quickly, I'll be giving short answers as we have to save time, and the questions are not complicated. I forgot to salute at the outset Slona for all the contributions they have made in a substantial manner to help the people who are in need in the northern provinces after the war was over. At least that was a gesture. I think it was done very early, and it was a very good precedent that gave others a kind of an example to follow. Now, about Chandrasekharan, yes, I remember.
Thank you.
I remember you, comrade. And as you said, citizenship was overnight denied to the Tamils living in the hill country by the DSNI government. And later on, the Sirima Shastri Pact came in and gave citizenship to a large number. The others were to go. And it was heart-rending scene if you ever saw. What weeping, crying, wailing went on when they were being forcibly exported.
But also my family was disbanded. My sister went to India.
I know. Family is broken up. All this happened. But since then, Sri Lankan government has decided to give citizenship to all people living in our country, including the residue and the multiplied lot after the Sirima Shastri Pact. And there was no resistance by anybody in the parliament, not even the JV. I mean, that gives you an impression of what the composition of the parliament is now. These haven't recent. Citizenship to all. Then, why are we dragging this solution? Giving a solution, why are we dragging? The President has all the power. According to the Constitution, there is 2/3 majority. If there is a way forward, a solution, why isn't it being given? This is not about the President or the 2/3 majority. This whole thing is about the Sinhala people and the Tamil people and the Muslim people. We need to ultimately account for what we have done before the people. And the people have to be quietly prepared for it. And the people have to be educated on these matters. Our work in our ministry is mainly aimed at preparing the people to understand and to take an enlightened view of the grievances of other communities. And so therefore, we may have to take time to make it known and make it more acceptable to all communities, and all communities coming together to ultimately agree on a minimum program, a minimum point of departure. So this will take time. And if it is a matter between 4 persons or 5-6 persons who have to decide and then pass it, there is no problem about it. That's how we always try to do it. And every time it backfired. You remember? BC Bank. Backfired. Then came the next one in 1980. Dalli Bank. Decided at the top. Backfired. Then lastly,
2000 Constitution.
yes, what came out of Indo-Lanka agreement and whatever that Chandrika wanted to do without consulting. She of course did some educating of the Sinhala people about the rights of Tamil people and the rights of language, the cultural aspects, all that, but that was just one round of teaching. This has to be a constant activation of the Sinhala people in the involvement of knowing and then using the present current mood of the people to have a very enlightened view and a positive approach to the problem. You will have to remember that all this time the war was being fought. When Chandrika tried, disputes had arisen. When Banda Chelva tried, or Dudley Chelva, disputes had arisen already, and which then extended into a war. And the war was the preoccupied subject. While that was the case, as I told you before, the Sinhalese were preoccupied in winning the war. Today, the Sinhalese say, the war is over, let's do justice to the Tamil people, as I said earlier. So this is the best of times. This is the best of opportunities for us to now come to an understanding. And it should come as, not as any secret pact, but as open discussion and openly arriving at the minimum possible or the maximum possible or taken together. Not one giving the other, but agreeing, all agreeing to start at some point. I don't want to take longer. Registration of lands, yes. These IDPs who are in India are coming back. And they come and say, this is where we live. Then we find another person in occupation. Now how do you resolve this? It's a government's responsibility. So you have to have these committees for land registration and to decide on the land entitlements. Possession is one thing, ownership is another thing. Ownership entitlements, possession entitlements, these have to be examined and cleared before the matters can be solved. The LTT has taken over lands for its own military work and also given out lands distributed to their the most cooperative families or the most trusted families of the LTT. So now others who are coming from the IDP camps are claiming them. The people who have been in the south are now coming up and wanting the lands. But there are others occupied. There were some occupied by the high security zones. High security zones were very much reduced and the lands were given back to the people in the areas where the high security zones were. Still the high security zones are maintained, they will become further reduced. Military camps will have to become reduced. Above all, the presence of the army in an assertive manner, the presence of the army in an intervening manner of the day-to-day affairs and living of the people has to be reduced. If it is being done today for security reasons, well, we have to secure environment when such presence and intervention is not necessary. I think you asked about why are the... Yeah, these are the questions you asked. These are my answers now. But maybe with more information, more comment by you, more critique by you, I will also develop my understanding and my viewpoint. Thank you.